And it's not us and them.
No, it's just us.
Yeah. I mean, at any point, any of us could
That's
become
right.
one of them.
And people need to think about that, and not just now. Well, I don't do things like that. No.
And I would never. And,
Never.
well,
Okay, now think back when you were 17. Most people doing time now committed their crime somewhere between the ages of 17 and 27.
okay.
That's the window. Think about your own thought processes, choice-making skills,
And maybe
associations.
Yeah, and maybe you were lucky and didn't get caught.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean you're any more innocent than them.
Right. And we need to remember that as a culture.
What's the basic phrase? There but for the grace
There
of
but
God.
for the
go
grace. Exactly.
On. Go on.
And we need to remember that. All of us need to remember that. They are not them. They're us.
Mm-hmm. And we're all a part of each other.
And they're
Everything
all...
is so interdependent and interconnected, it makes no
Absolutely.
sense to treat someone badly, because that's, I mean, it goes back to the golden rule, which you will find a form of that
in every great
in every religion.
Yes.
Whatever you want people to do to you, do to them.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't want them to do it to you, don't do it to them.
Mm-hmm. Well, and another way that I thought about that more recently was to create a system that will do for the person in need what you would want the system to do for you if you ever do experience that need.
Yes. And consider all of them as your relations in some form.
Well, everybody has people in their family tree that...
Yeah, the black sheep, you know, there's cousin so-and-so.
Yeah.
Well,
What
and
if-
cousin so-and-so just got caught and you didn't.
Yeah. And what if everybody in your family considered you the black sheep?
And some of them do.
Well, and not to digress too much, but, you know, coming back to the point of being specifically a Wiccan chaplain, the person who is considered a black sheep in their family because the family was some version of Christian and they chose to be Wiccan. Because to them, it was a spiritual system that made more sense.
That's right.
And that was more helpful to them.
And among Wiccans, there is a term called coming home. It feels like, oh, this is so familiar. I know this from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels right.
But they may be ostracized by their family.
Exactly. But that, because it feels right, they stay with it.
Mm.
But oddly, most Wiccans in prison did not come in listed as Wiccan.
Okay.
They mostly came in listed as some vague sort of Christian.
Were they afraid of being...
No, they had never even heard of it. Most Wiccans in prison found Wicca in prison.
Oh, really?
And they found it because there are books floating around in population. They're in the libraries too, but just, I've got this book, I'm leaving, I'm giving it to you. Is that legal? No, but it happens. And they find a handful of books that made them go, you know, I've tried on this religion and that religion and the other one, and none of them fit. And I think this one might work.
Okay. I was going to say, watching this show, I imagine there'd be some conservative Christians who run right out and try to find all those copies and get rid of them. You know, but I would encourage the viewing audience to think not in terms of which religion or of, you know, everyone should be like us.
But finding a spiritual truth that resonates.
A spiritual truth that resonates, a spiritual truth that will work.
Right.
That will create an empowering human-divine relationship. You know, to me, God is God, and nothing we say one way or the other is going to change that.
Exactly.
We may perceive masculine or feminine qualities, we may perceive no human qualities whatsoever. The point is not the point to me is not in what form God chooses to reveal God's self to you, but the fact that there is a human-divine relationship that is empowering, that gives you a way of relating to yourself and to the world in a way that empowers life, that makes it loving and honest and truthful and manageable.
All of the great religions at one point in time or another have said, God is love. Now, do they act that way? Unfortunately, no. But
we wish.
That is the truth. Mm-hmm. God is love. And the place
God
that
is love,
starts...
and human is clearly not love by nature.
And that starts with
we're
love for yourself.
Yeah.
Caring enough about yourself to not make stupid choices.
Well, and And in that solace of being incarcerated and doing the self-reflection, discovering who you are, but I believe in order to complete that, you also have to understand that you exist in relationship. There is an I, but the I is inseparably connected with everything around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to put as much wisdom and love into those relationships as you can in order to have all the good qualities we associate with the divine come into your life.
And recognize that that is not static. It's not something, well, got there, done, now I can coast on autopilot.
No.
No. It's a living...
It's a relationship.
Yes.
It's a relationship.
And a relationship is living.
It's not even a recipe.
No.
It's not a recipe, it's not a process, it's not a series of steps. It is a relationship.
And it's ongoing and evolving. And as each of us becomes, the relationship becomes.
And that's where I tell people, if you want answers, go ask God. And let God give you the answers that work for you.
And that's who that voice was that said, you know, let's not do this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
that's
much so.
what needs to be listened to. And in prison, you actually get a chance to sit down and talk to yourself and talk to God and listen for the answers.
And really listen. Really, really listen like you've never listened before.
Yes. It has been said
Thank you so much. We are just about out of time.
Okay.
We'll have to have another discussion another time, but I really thank you for everything you've shared today.
Thank you, sister. Thank you for the work you do.
And blessed be.